From a woman caught giving false identity to the police
or misleading verbal or written communication identifying yourself as somebody else.
To a man refusing to plead guilty to driving on a suspended license.
Advocate on someone's behalf. You can advocate on your own behalf, but you can't do it on behalf of somebody else.
Would it be possible to find a way to get like a restricted license? Because I have a huge burden on everybody in my family trying to get me to work every day, and it's very difficult to figure out.
I say this a lot. If I were king of the world, I'd be more lenient with giving people restricted driver's licenses, but I don't.
Here are 3 moments where Judge Middleton ensures accountability cuts no corners. Starting with Ms. Short facing the consequences for her brazen deception, lying to police about her identity despite being on probation. Let's see how the judge handles this.
All right, thanks. Bye. March 20th. All right, Ms. Short.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. This is Judge Middleton. I've been asked to do this jail arraignment today. Also with us is Casey Strong from the Public Defender staff. You got a warrant issued for your arrest alleging that you gave false information to a police officer at the time of your arrest. The date of the ticket is March 14th. I had a concern that you were in jail on March 14th, but the jail staff just informed me you didn't get lodged until March 20th. So you've been in custody now for 35 days from March 20th to April 25th. The allegation is that you did furnish a peace officer with false, fictitious, or misleading verbal or written communication identifying yourself as somebody else. According to the affidavit of probable cause, you said your name was Cassandra Kiesler, and then they later realized it was you. You weren't driving a car, you just gave false information as to who you were. So that's the charge. It is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100. Ms. Short, in the real world, if you got charged with this, I wouldn't have given you 35 days in jail for this, but you've now been in jail for 35 days. So I would represent that if you acknowledge this offense and plead guilty to it, I'll give you 35 days credit, 35 days. This case would be closed out. You could also plead not guilty, and I could set it for a pretrial and appoint a lawyer for you. What would you like to do?
I just do time served for the 35 days. I'm pleading
And
guilty.
Your Honor, if I may, I would like to interject and make sure that before Ms. Short makes a determination on whether or not to enter a guilty plea or not guilty plea, this kind of a charge, if she is to plead guilty to it, does have an impact on her credibility if she is to testify in future cases. I like to make all clients known of that in weighing their options.
All right. And another factor is this could, you have a probation violation hearing tomorrow in front of Judge Pattison. Committing this offense while you're on probation could also be a violation of your probation. Do you understand that?
I did not.
I
Well,
understand.
let me let you speak privately
Yes,
with
please.
Ms. Strong, and then we'll decide what you want to do.
Okay.
Oh, I can change that timer to 15 seconds. I'll make it 30. Somebody told me that. I closed the damn room and I can't thank you for enduring my struggle there. Let's return back to the matter of people. There's Robin Janelle Short. File number is 25730. Ms. Short is charged with giving false license information or identification information to a police officer. It's not really a driver's license thing because she wasn't driving, but the way the complaint reads, did furnish a peace officer false or fictitious misleading information. So it's after being detained for a violation of the Michigan Vehicle Code. Let me look at this because I thought she was walking. She's riding a bicycle. Ms. Strong, after discussing that with the complainant, what's your view here?
I've spoken with Ms. Short. She's going to be entering a not guilty plea and asking for a court-appointed attorney and an attorney pretrial.
All right. Miss Short, was this on a bicycle?
No, I was the passenger that just got picked up.
All right. Well, it says you were being detained for a violation of the Michigan Vehicle Code. In the original allegation, you were on a bicycle, not in a vehicle. Then when they picked you up, all right. Put in breakout room, defendant plead not guilty. Casey, what I think I will do is first set this for a pretrial with the prosecutor before we appoint counsel on it. It probably would go faster because the pretrial wouldn't be until May 30th. I'm concerned that she could end up being in custody until then, but I would set a bond. I guess I'll follow your request. Set attorney pretrial for 5/30/25. Point counsel.
And we would ask for a personal recognizance bond in this
Yes.
matter, because she has some other things going on as well.
Yeah, she's been in jail for 35 days and she has a PV hearing tomorrow, but this isn't what's holding. I'll set bond at $250 PR. And is the Burr Oak Road address still a legitimate address?
No.
You were homeless at one point.
Yes, right now I'm staying with my parents
And where is that?
in Sturgis, 307 South Maple.
All right, I think you told me that. I didn't want to put it on the record, but all right, your bond is $250 PR. Judge Pattison will deal with you tomorrow. I'm not going to put any bond conditions on here on this kind of a case. All right, Ms. Short, Judge Pattison will see you tomorrow. I'll see you in a little more than a month and we'll deal with this. I want to take a closer look at the statute. I was looking just at the complaint. Your attorney can do that. I'm not sure that this charge fits the facts. As a general rule, there is not a right for a police officer to just stop you on the street and ask you for your identification. It has to be connected to something else. So we'll see whether the statute fits those facts. At any rate, Judge Pattison will see you tomorrow and you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Strong.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This time, we have Mr. Pashby back in court after a warrant was issued for his arrest, skipping his arraignment, failing to pay fines, and driving without insurance while already on probation. And it's crazy how these people always have an excuse to downplay their actions.
All right, thanks. Good morning, or good afternoon.
morning.
Are you Taya Pashby?
Yes, sir, I am.
And we've met. This is Judge Middleton. The public defender, Casey Strong, is also here with us. Ms. Pashby, I saw that you had gotten arrested last night, and we have a district court matter we have to take care of. And file number 25139SM, you're charged with no insurance under the insurance code. That was on January 26th.
Yep.
It was set for arraignment on February 11th, and you didn't show up. We did a warrant mask, and we're prepared to issue a warrant for your arrest for failing to appear. And then I saw that you were in custody. So I guess we don't need to do any warrant for you. Have you been seen by Judge Stutzman yet?
No, sir.
Let's talk about this case. It's a misdemeanor, and not a terribly serious one, but you didn't show up. So we were going to issue a warrant and you got picked up. And so here you are. So let's talk about the original ticket. You got a ticket at 1:43 a.m. South River Road, Michigan Avenue and Spring Street, right by the police station, for driving without insurance. Driving without insurance is a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $500. It carries a fine of not less than $200 plus costs. And it requires that you get fingerprinted. So the allegation is that on that day you were driving a car without any insurance. How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty?
Anybody threaten you to get you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
This isn't the kind of case I would normally assign a jail sentence to. I'm going to give you a fine and give you some time to pay it. Other than that, did anybody promise you anything
No, sir.
or threaten you to get you to plead to this charge?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you do plead to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There won't be a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Casey Strong is here from the Public Defender's Office today to make sure we're following things appropriately. But if we had a trial, we'd appoint a separate attorney for you, or you could hire one of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand and testify in your own behalf, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. And you have the right to be presumed innocent unless the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Were you driving a car at 1:30 in the morning on that day, January 26th?
Yes, sir.
Where were you going?
Back home.
From where?
I was leaving my friend's house in Maple Crest, over that way by the Andrew School, those apartments, and I was going back home.
And you didn't have insurance on the car?
Not at the time, no. Which I did not know whether it matters or not. I did not know. My insurance was supposed to be on auto pay, and that was the month, the only month the insurance was not on the car. And then right after that, I did directly get insurance on the car.
All right. The problem is this carries a $200 minimum fine by the statute, $75 crime victims' rights, and $50 state minimum fee. Why didn't you show up for court?
I didn't even know that I had court. I didn't receive any papers or anything like that. My probation officer didn't tell me anything like that. I did not know I had court.
He handed you a ticket that said to contact the court within 10 days.
Yeah. And I got the insurance and I contacted.
Well, all right, let's talk about this. There's a possibility the prosecutor could reduce this to no proof of insurance, since you later went out and got insurance. If you want me to, I'll show you pled not guilty and let you have a pretrial with the prosecutor. Do you know why you got picked up for circuit court? Did your probation agent do a warrant for you?
I went into probation yesterday at 4 to see her, and I had a stomach bug for 2 days, so I missed my initial meeting with her, and then she said that I'm just not taking it serious enough and I'm not getting there, so she made me come here.
Well, maybe, all right, probably there's some kernel of truth in there. I'm willing to give you this. Now, you've also got some other stuff you didn't pay. You got some disorderly persons that were reduced to civil infractions. You didn't pay those. So I'm reluctant to give you another fine that you probably won't pay. But this will be $325. And I'll give you time to pay it. If the prosecutor would reduce the charge to no proof of insurance, it would reduce it to $150.
May I say something, sir?
Certainly.
I have a interview Friday. I already forgot what day it is today, but I have an interview Friday to finally get a job, considering, and I'm planned on paying. I get a decent check on Friday as well. I plan on paying my little tickets, fines, court fees off. You gave me, I have something $50 worth that I have to pay,
Yeah.
that when I seen you last time, now this, and then I also needed to start paying on my probation, restitution, and
Where's
stuff like that.
where's your job interview?
Back at Graham's.
Okay.
I initially started at Graham's before I got on probation, and then my background came back a little late, and so they fired me, but they told me they'd hire me back when I got on probation. So Friday, I literally have my interview to get back in if I'm out of here in time.
All right. I'm going to show a plea of not guilty. I'm going to set a $100 PR bond. This is not the charge that's keeping you in custody. It's your circuit court. I think your probation officer wanted you to get a wake-up call. Maybe you just got it. I woke you up when I had you come in here. And I'm going to set a pretrial. Who's your PO?
Amanda Coney.
Okay, I may talk with her. I appreciate your willingness to plead to this, but if you had been here for real on the day you were supposed to be, let's take a look at what kind of notice was in here. Notice of arraignment at jail. It's not this one. Scheduled arraignment. I can't tell what kind of notice you got from what I'm looking at. The ticket doesn't have a date on it. It says call the court within 10 days, and I don't see what we ever sent to you to tell you when to be here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. My apologies for interrupting, but that's what I was saying. I didn't remember getting anything. Well, I definitely know I didn't get anything in the mail. No one.
I can't tell you that you did. All right, I'm gonna set a pretrial. I don't know the date right now. It'll be in the morning at 8:30. When you come in for that, I want you to bring the proof that your car is insured now. All right?
Okay. Okay.
All right, I'm not your booking. Like I said, I just saw this on the booking, and I didn't want you to get out of jail and then get rearrested on a new warrant for this.
Thank you.
You weren't even on our list, but it just says probation detainer. So I'm not sure what that means, but that's why you're in jail, not because of this. All right, Ms. Pashby, well, are you at the River Road address?
Well, which one is it? 17 or?
I didn't want to, yeah, that one. Are you at that one?
I'm not at that one anymore.
We'll get your address from the PO.
Okay.
We'll try to give you notice at the jail. I'm not sure how long you're going to be there. I think maybe Amanda Coney got your attention. You owe me $50 and you owe a couple old traffic tickets, but they're all on civil infractions. All right, Ms. Pashby.
Finally, this last case is on Mr. Perry, who couldn't be bothered to stop driving on a suspended license, despite a record packed with violations. It's crazy how this man shamelessly pleaded not guilty.
All right, this is file number 251-363 ST, People versus Joshua Scott Perry. That's you, sir?
Yes, sir.
I saw you on April 3rd. You were here live for your arraignment. You pled not guilty. The prosecutor said there's no plea offer. And I advised I was not likely to appoint an attorney. I was not likely to put you in jail for this. You indicated you wanted to represent yourself. So I set the matter for a final pretrial today. Conferred with the prosecutor earlier. They said they would not be here. And their offer is still plead to the charge. The charge is driving with a suspended license. It's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. You got quite a bit of baggage on your driving record. And they were unwilling to reduce the charge from this charge of driving suspended. So here's our options. You can continue your plea of not guilty, and I can set the matter for a trial. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or you can simply enter a plea to the charge, and I'll give you a fine and some time to pay the fine. However, if you do plead to the charge, it's driving suspended. As I told you before, it carries 2 points, goes on your driving record, and will cause your license to be further suspended. So if you wish to plead guilty, we can resolve it today. If you wish to continue your plea of not guilty, we can set it for a trial. What would you like to do? No, you're not his lawyer. You're certainly a concerned party, but he's not represented by an attorney, and you have to be an attorney to advocate on someone's behalf. You can advocate on your own behalf, but you can't do it on behalf of somebody else.
Would it be possible to find a way to get like a restricted license? Because I'm a huge burden on everybody in my family trying to get me to work every day, and it's very difficult to figure out.
I say this a lot. If I were king of the world, I'd be more lenient with giving people restricted driver's licenses, but I don't have the authority to do that. Shayna, if you can hear me, I don't see any charging document in this Joshua Perry case. I don't have the ticket. I don't have a complaint. There doesn't appear to be any alcohol on here. Your driving privileges were suspended. Let's go back to the beginning. You got a number of speeding tickets, and in November of 2024, they referred you for a driver examination, and they suspended your driver's license from November 13th of 24 through May 12th of 25. So your suspension is almost up.
Yeah, that's kind of, I was just hoping I could get like at least a restricted license so I can get to work.
Well, the prosecutor isn't here. And in their defense, this was set for tomorrow, sort of half and half. Here are a couple of options. If we set the trial after May 12th, you'll have a license by that time. Provided you don't do any more dumb stuff between now and May 12th, your suspension will be over with. The prosecutor could then amend the charge to something that would allow you to not lose your license. So I've got an idea for 425.
There is no prosecutor available.
I know, that's what they told us.
Okay.
She sent me an email.
Okay.
So I'm gonna show a plea not guilty.
Ticket was just scanned in. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
show a plea of not guilty. I'm gonna set a pretrial for May 30th. Are you working someplace?
Yes, I work at TH Plastics, but it's only during the weekdays, that from 2 o'clock to 11.
All right, I'm gonna set this for 8:30 in the morning. That won't interrupt your work
So
day,
I will be here.
just your sleep day. For an attorney pretrial at 8:30, instruct defendant to bring proof of license. After May 12th, I think they'll either send it that tell you you're unsuspended, or you can go into the Secretary of State's office. So I want you to do that prior to May 30th. There is a charge that the prosecutor could use, which would allow you to keep your license. I don't have the discretion to do that. The prosecutor does. And if you come in with a valid license, it shows that you wrote out this 6-month suspension, except for this. Now, the tickets was not inadvertently not put in here. So let me look at it. This will be Friday. Let me see if I get the date right this time. Friday, May 30th at 8:30. Courtroom C, pretrial conference, bring proof of license. And the prosecutor could at that time amend the charge to Shannon. Now Mr. Perry got erased from the queue. There's no related items. I wanted to see his ticket, see what time it was and where it was, but
I have the actual
yeah,
copy.
let me
of it.
see it. That'll help me. When they updated it, it somehow erased you. 227 at 1:23 a.m. US 12 and Huff Road, which is a minute and a half from the other road, and just Schrader Road is not very far from there. So it looks like you were coming home from work. Doesn't say why they stopped you. Vehicle was released to parents on scene. Well, good, at least they didn't tow it. All right. We'll kick the can down the road a little bit to May 30th. I want you to write out the rest of this suspension. Don't drive anymore for the next 19 days or so.
Yes, sir.
Go to SOS and get your license back or bring the paperwork that shows you have it restored. Because it appears to me after May 12th, you'll be legal to drive.
So will that just kind of like reset it basically?
Yes, I don't know if it automatically will restart or you need to go to the Secretary of State to do it. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Well, again, now I can't get back in your file. I don't know what happened, but you got all those speeding tickets in a short period of time and they cited you in for a re-exam. And last November, they suspended you. And then in February, you got caught doing this. So, all right, write the rest of it out till after May 12th. I'll see you on Friday morning, May 30th. We'll see if the prosecutor will give you some consideration when you got your license back.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, you're good to go. Thank you.